Hey guys, I'm Nicole and welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I just wanted to come and talk with you for a few minutes about simplifying your life. My life is not the most simple. I definitely could simplify it further, but over the years, I have definitely done a good bit to change our routines and, in particular, my life up to make it more simple. I guess just a little bit of a backstory. I am a mom of 9 and I live with my family on a small homestead, and we're trying to live a debt-free life. And to do so, we've had to definitely cut back in some areas and simplify some things. And it was a big change for me. Probably, I don't know, maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, we kind of started along this path, and it's just been a huge change. But overall, I'm very grateful for it. It has been a big blessing in my life, and so I just wanted to share just a couple of things that I do just to try to weed through ideas and things that I might need to get done, just to kind of pick the best things. There's so many things just that are good things that I could add into my life and into our home, but they're not the best things, if that makes any sense at all. It's there's so much that we can choose from, and if we choose too much, then we'll just overwhelm ourselves and overwhelm our family and our lives. And so I think it's really a good idea to kind of just pare down and just try to stick with the most important things and the things that we really feel like the Lord is leading us to do. And if we do those things and not all the other stuff, then we'll just have a much more peaceful, stress-free existence, I guess you could say. So first of all, I would recommend that you make a list of your priorities and your non-negotiables and things that you just know that are very important in your life and that you need to keep in your life and that you need to keep at the very top of your priority list. I'm talking about now, for me as a mom, not necessarily for my family. That's almost like a whole other topic entirely. I could talk for a long time about the activities that I have my kids in and just the different curriculum that I choose in order to best fit in with my family's needs and all of that stuff. But just for me, as a mom and as a wife, these are the things that I have decided take the very top priority in my life and that I'm always going to try to make a place for. Number one is my faith. That is the absolute most important thing. I need to always make sure that I've given God the top spot and top priority in my life. And that looks like having Bible study time for myself and prayer time and just time to read books and time to listen to teachings and that type of thing. And sometimes I will do this in amongst homeschooling or being with my kids. I sometimes do this out on the couch or sometimes just in the quiet of my bedroom. But I know that it's a very important thing that I need to try to make a very high priority in my life. And so, even if it's just taking a few minutes of each morning and each evening to dedicate to the Lord, to dedicate our days to the Lord and ask Him to lead us and guide us and direct us, and then reading the scriptures. And so anyhow, that is just number one on my list. And if that doesn't happen on a certain day for some reason, it's just I can definitely tell and I can feel it. And my day just doesn't go as smoothly. And I know that that's just honoring God is the most important thing that I could do with my life. And so I want to make sure that I make time for Him. And then other than that, I want to be present for my family, both my husband and my kids. I want to make sure I have time for homeschooling. That is something that I guess for our family we've decided is a big priority. And so I need to make sure that I have, spent the time that I need to prepare and actually homeschool the kids, whether it be just as a facilitator with their online learning or maybe more in depth with my younger ones. That's something very important that I need to make the time for. And then also taking care of my home, our meals, the gardening, just kind of being a manager of our home. That is another really big priority on my list. And so those are pretty much, I think, what I have that's these are non-negotiables. These are things that I have to do no matter what, that are very important to me. And I know that these things are, I don't know, I believe this is my calling on my life. So these things are very important. And also I will mention exercise. I do feel like Exercise is very important. It's not as important if I have a day where I am very physically active. But if I'm not very physically active, I want to make sure that I'm exercising. I feel like that is a way to honor God with my body. We just, in general, now live in a society where it's more of a sedentary society. And so, if we're not careful and we don't make the time to exercise, sometimes it just won't happen. And then, our bodies will go downhill. And I really believe that the Lord wants us to take as good care of our bodies as we can. And so, I do also exercise is one of my priorities as well. And so, those are the things that are just I want to do, I want to get done. And then secondary to that, I have some things like my blog or even YouTube. This is something I enjoy doing. I really like to talk to you guys and I love to blog. I do. I love writing. It's just so much fun. It's something I've liked to do since I was young, like probably in elementary school. I love to write and it's something that I really enjoy doing, but I know it's not the first priority. And so sometimes that will be something that will have to be kind of cut out or slowed down if I need to focus on my other priorities. Even with YouTube, at the end of 2022, like the last 3 months, I made it a goal for myself to really try to share as much as I could on YouTube because I just wanted to share our lives and be an encouragement possibly to you guys. And so I made that a goal for myself. But now going into 2023, I almost feel like the Lord's kind of telling me to slow down just a little bit, that I need to refocus on my kids and my husband and my home just a little bit more. And so I think that this year I might not be as present as I was at the end of last year, but I still have a goal and plans to share here. Of course, I really think that's a good thing to do. So that's what I am planning to do for now, for sure. But it's got to take a second place to like my family and my faith and things like that. It can be really easy to get sucked into any kind of social media or online internet things and then neglect the things that are the most important in our homes. Believe me, I know this from experience. I've done this before. So I know that I need to make sure that I keep really fresh in my brain that the online internet things take a second priority to what's going on in my home. And so there's that. And then just any other outside activities that take me away from my family or from my home. I screen those very carefully. And I know that a lot of the times I will be saying no to those things, but it's actually a good thing because I'm giving my priorities that are like my main things that I want to do a higher priority on my list, and that's the important thing. And so I've learned that, especially internet things and then things outside of my home are things that I need to be really mindful of and careful as to how much time I'm spending doing those things, because I want to make sure that my main things are my main things. And this is like my number one thing that I had to do when I started to try to simplify my life a bit. Also, I have simplified our meal planning. If you have watched my channel at all, you might know that I am plant-based as far as my eating goes. I'm not like 100% plant-based, but I'm pretty close. I am a vegetarian. I don't eat meat, but I do every now and then. I might eat an egg. We do have backyard chickens, and sometimes I will eat an egg, or maybe just a little bit of cheese. But I mean, I try to stay away from that as much as I can. But the rest of my family is not vegetarian or plant-based. I do try to integrate, plant-based foods into their meals as much as possible, and then, just make it so that I can eat some of the meal and, they enjoy it too. But in order to do that, I've had to really simplify our meals. And so right now, honestly, we pretty much have like a weekly dinner rotation, and that's all we've got. So we've got like, each week we're eating the same thing. Like each Mondays we eat the same thing, each Tuesdays we eat the same thing, or we might change out a few of the sides or things like that, but overall it's very, I guess, similar to the previous week. But I have noticed that has really simplified things for me. It's given me a lot more time back. My 16-year-old daughter right now, she takes care of dinner on Monday and Tuesday night, and then I take care of the rest of the week. And it's just really simplified everything, and it's really easy to kind of know this is what we're doing. And And yeah, and so that's I guess a huge tip that I would have is just to try to simplify your meal planning if you can. I know, like my husband, he used to feel like he really wanted to have a big variety in his meals, but he has lost a good bit of weight the past year, and he's realized that that's not really necessary. And so it's kind of funny. It's like I have my own kind of meal plan, and then he has a different one, and then we have something, the other kids, they all do the same kind of thing, but he's more strict in a few ways for him, which is for his health benefits. And like he was pre-diabetic, and so certain things he will not eat or he stays away from, where the kids, they might have a little bit more of it, especially more on the sweet side. Even though we try to eat more organic things, we still do have sweets and stuff like that in our home. But yeah, so it's kind of like been a challenge, but now I think we've got it pretty figured out, and it's simplified it a lot in that we pretty much just eat the same meal every single week. I have heard of some people that make like one big batch meal, and then they'll eat that same exact dish every single night of the week. I've heard of people that do that when they want to simplify things, when they want to try to get their budget down. And so there's no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with eating similar food. There's really not. And so I used to feel like I had to like think and plan of all these different variety of meals, but right now in this season of life, that's not what I do. I have tried and I've tried, but it's just not working for us. But in the long run, I've realized it's really been a blessing because it's given us a whole lot of time back, and it's super easy to grocery shop. It's like I know exactly what I need, and that's a big time saver as well. And then we have more time just because it's like autopilot cooking almost. And so that's kind of what we're doing right now. So I would recommend, if you're looking to simplify your life, to maybe simplify your meal plans. That could definitely help you. Also, it's a good idea to declutter your home and to think of like an autopilot cleaning routine. Now, guys, I am not like minimalist at all. I like decorations. I love like all my kids' artwork and all the treasures they give to me and the cards. And, I know some people, they can like take pictures of things and then, eventually kind of pass stuff on or get rid of things. But I just have a hard time with that. And so, yeah, over the years, I've gotten a little better as far as just trying to be mindful about what comes into our home in the first place. I think that might be like the best way for me to do it, because once something enters our home and once I feel like there's some kind of memory attached to the item, even though I know that's not true, it's just an item. It doesn't, the memory is what matters. It's inside of my brain, but I have a hard time getting rid of it. And so like I have been very careful. I try to be very careful about what I bring into my home now. But and then if things are broken, and if things just, do not serve a purpose at all in our home anymore, I do get rid of it. And so it's just, you have less time that you'll have to clean those items, and tidying is much quicker. And so I would recommend definitely decluttering your home. And then also just think of a cleaning routine, or get into a cleaning routine that's like an autopilot routine that you just do. It might take a few weeks or months to get into that, but I will tell you, it is really, I don't know, it's just much easier once you've got like a routine down, and it'll take you much less time because you'll know what you're supposed to do, and it'll be pretty easy. And so like for us, what I do is like certain children have different like zones of the house essentially. Like I have like 3 of my girls, they share a bedroom, and the oldest of the 3 is the best by far at keeping it tidy, which that's understandable. But there's been times like I've switched out like the oldest and the second oldest taking turns, cleaning it up, but that hasn't worked out so well. And so like I did a super good deep clean of this bedroom, and then I've given it to my oldest daughter in there to make sure, it stays clean, and she's been doing a great job. And so every day I just like make sure that it's picked up, and it's like really easy to keep clean once you do it the first time, and then it's just picking up a little thing here or there, and it's really simple. And then my next youngest daughter that's in that room, her job is to make sure the living room is picked up. Not that she does any of like the actually like washing windows or vacuuming, none of that, but she just needs to help keep the toys picked up out of the floor. If there's a jacket in the floor, she'll put that where it goes and stuff like that. And so, and then also like for me, like my bathroom, and then like our half bath, which my boys use, and they do a cleaning on it once a week, like more of a deep cleaning. But I like every day I stick my head in there, and then I just, if there's a problem, if it needs a little wipe here or there, I'll do it. Same with my bathroom, and then it just never gets like really disgusting. And doing that for those areas has just really helped our cleaning routine a lot, and it saved us a lot of time in the long run too. And then on Fridays, we have more of like an in-depth, like deeper cleaning routine. And I think we've got it down pretty well. And so like my 16-year-old daughter, I mean, honestly, she cleans like the girls' bathroom, and then she makes sure the floors are totally swept. And then one of my other daughters will mop the floors. And then my two oldest sons, they take care of one of the bathrooms, and I take care of my bathroom, and then making sure everything's tidied up. And then I do the kitchen counters, and my other son, like he'll do the stairs going down into the basement and our laundry room sweeping, and then I'm like do all the dusting, and I do all the windows in the house. But it's like it only takes us a couple hours really to do it, because we've gotten into like a really good routine. That's just almost like autopilot. And so I know there's been seasons of life where it's not been like that for us, and then things have gotten overwhelming, and my cleaning just takes a whole lot longer than it really should need to take, or it just doesn't get done because it's too overwhelming. And then that's just not the greatest environment to live in. It's not the greatest environment for our kids to be in, or our husbands. And so I would recommend, just if you want to simplify your life, try to figure out a simple cleaning routine that you can actually stick to. And that has been really, really life-changing for me, and something that I would definitely recommend doing. I mean, as much as it'd be nice if we didn't have to clean our houses, that's just not the case for most of us. And so, most of us have to do it ourselves. Most of us don't hire help to do that. And so just finding like a really good routine for that will be very helpful. Also, I'd like to recommend, if you're wanting to simplify your life, to try to simplify your clothing, or at least like the clothing you bring in. I know for me this year, I've decided to do a no-spend clothing year, which is a way for me to simplify in just a couple of ways. But honestly, if I know that I'm not even going to be spending time looking for clothing for myself, like if I'm at a store or online, that's going to give me a whole lot of my own time back. And so yeah, I would really recommend that. Trying to figure out maybe a better way for you to store your clothes, like look in your closet, look in your dressers, or, just pare down. If you have like, I don't know, 3 or 4 of an item and you really only need 1 or 2, maybe think about donating that item, just things like that. And so I don't know, clothing for me is one of those things I don't really mind getting rid of if it's definitely really well worn, or I just don't need it and I think somebody else might need it more than I do. And so I don't really mind getting rid of clothing. But I guess think, the less that you have in your house, the less you have to keep clean, and then the more time you can devote to your faith and your husband and your children and all those other things in your home that really need your attention, that God has given you to take care of. And so yeah, simplify your clothes. And then also just saying no. I mentioned this earlier, but if you are asked to do something and you just don't have the time, or it won't be good for your family if you leave to do this certain thing, don't be afraid to say no. It is totally okay to say no sometimes. And I know, like, I personally do not have like a lot of like in-person friends. Just over time, my lifestyle is a little different than a lot of people, and I do prefer just like stay with my husband and kids. Like, I'm not really big on, or I'm not real big. I'm not at all like the type of person that wants to leave to go spend time with friends. I'd rather be with my family. And so I would just recommend sometimes saying no if it's something that you feel like your time would be better spent with your family. When I was really young, when I was like in my early 20s, I did have, some friends that were like more in person friends, but our lives just became vastly different as far as just what we decided to do with them. And, a lot of times you just, I don't know, it's like if you decide to have a large family or to give God control over that, and you're like having babies a lot and you're busy with your younger kids at home, and then your other friends like stopped having kids, they had maybe 2 kids, and then they started a career. It's just your lives are vastly different. That doesn't mean that you cannot be friends, because of course you can still be friends, and of course you can still get along and be with each other. But I just know in my experience, a lot of times we kind of grew apart as that happened, and that's okay. And I've realized that really, like, I want to spend the majority, or the very, very vast majority of my time at home with my kids and my husband. And so don't be afraid to say no if you really feel like you need to simplify your life in some area. So I guess that's all I have to say about all that. I think it's a good thing to try to simplify your life as much as you can. And I know that it's like a learning process. Like, goodness, I don't know. I think I'm a totally different person, different mother than I was like whenever 20 years ago, for certain. And I know that my priorities change, and just the way I view the world has changed a lot. And I just realize how precious that time is with my family, and I want to make the most of it. And if I can simplify other areas of my life so that I can spend more time with them, or just talking with them, doing activities with them, I know that is a really, really good thing. So anyhow, I guess thank you so much for stopping by today. It's been a fun morning. It's Tuesday morning as I am filming this, and it's kind of like our Monday, because my husband, he is off on Mondays. He works 4 10-hour days, and we do like our homeschool on Monday. We do our homeschool stuff, but it's just kind of different if he's there. Does that make sense? It's just kind of different. And so Tuesday is like the first day where he's not here for 3 days, and my kids are just kind of like, they're kind of going crazy this morning. But we got all our schoolwork done, and it was raining first thing, and so I wasn't able to jog, but it stopped raining. So like in the middle of the morning, I'm like, I need to do a jog, and so I did that. And while the kids were doing some of their schoolwork, and it all worked out great. But anyhow, now we are entering like the early afternoon hours, which is normally our more quiet time together type hours. But I'm sure that my middle kids, at least, they will probably be doing all kinds of fun things outside. That's their favorite thing. And it's like 50 or 60 degrees right now. It's probably even higher than 60, I would think. And it is January as I'm filming this. So that is exciting. So I think they're gonna have a great time outdoors. But anyhow, thank you guys for stopping in with me today, and I will talk with you soon.